Welcome to another video everyone, this is Alan and today we'll explore data binding in Blazor. We'll cover both one-way and two-way data binding as well as how to customize the data bind event and execute code after data binding. As an overview, data binding connects our application's UI with underlying data sources. With data binding, we can synchronize the state of our components with changes in data, resulting in a responsive and dynamic user experience. So we are in Visual Studio here. I have opened up a project that I've been working on in this series. So basically just a blank project. We're on the counter component here on the counter page. And I've just left a small piece of code from the previous video when we saw event handling. And basically we have inside the div element, we have an input. When we type anything in our input, we have specified an event handler here to basically just take the value of whatever we input there and paste it into this paragraph using this @ sign to display the value of the text field that we have specified below. And basically what we have seen here is a one-way data binding. So a one-way data binding occurs when the information or the data flows only in one direction, which is basically used to display data in the UI. So this happens when we take the data from a C# code or from a database and just display it in our UI, usually using this @ sign. And the difference between one-way data binding and two-way data binding is that in two-way data binding, the data flows in both directions. So basically, whenever a value changes in the UI, this also updates our C# code or the data in our database, and vice versa. Whenever we change something right here in the in our C# code, this will also update our UI. And to basically do this, we can just delete this code. We do not need this event handler here. We can use the bind attribute, and we can bind our input here to the text field. So just this line here will do the same thing that our event handler did. Whatever we write in our input, the content of our input will be binded to this text field. And then here below, we are displaying the text field value. Let me just run our project. So here in our counter page, if I type something and I'm going to need to click away, we see that the content of our input was binded to the text variable. And just like we saw there, the binding occurred on change event. Actually, that's what happens by default, but we can change the binding event by just using the bind attribute, bind, then colon, and then event. We want the binding to happen on input, so as soon as we type any key in our keyboard, we would want the binding to happen and the value of the text to be updated. Let me just hot reload the project here. We refresh. As just after any character I type, we see that the value of the paragraph element just updates. Okay, one other concept that is worth mentioning is that we can basically choose to run a specific block of code after the binding happens. This would be very useful if we had a search box and would basically want to query in a database and would want some action to occur if we type something in our search box. To do this, we just need to use this bind after attribute. And here we can specify the name of the method that we want to be triggered. So let me just create a method. I'm just naming the method search here. We can create an asynchronous method here. We're just simulating a search, like we're searching something in the database. So async task, since we're writing an asynchronous method, I'm naming it search. I mean, that's the name of the method. that we specified above, and we would want to basically, let me just take another string field here, naming it result, giving it an initial value of an empty string. We're going to display it just below inside the paragraph tag. We're using the one-way data binding here with this @ sign, and when our search method is triggered, we want to update the value of our result field to, let's write a number here, 150 results were found. And we can also just use this task.delay method here to delay the execution of the following line with, let's say, 30 seconds. So since this is an asynchronous method, we need the await keyword before the method. Let me just run the project one more time to see how it works. Okay, so as soon as we type something here, after 30 seconds, we should be able to see the search method was triggered, and we see this displayed in our paragraph below. So that was data binding in Blazor. Please make sure to leave a comment if you have any questions. And just as a reminder, you can check out my C# ebook if you want to learn more about C#, or even if you already know the language, just to have a high quality reference guide at all times. I will link it in the description below, and that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys soon.